bythjul.com. Däck och fälgar online direkt hem till din dörr eller närmaste verkstad.
Just love this interior in here, and I love the color. This python green, and it comes back in here with that collar on the seat belts. You get reminded every time you put them on, and that makes you know, in a better mood. And what I also like, this is classic, having a key, and a key in green, you know, lined with the collar. Put it in. There's some feeling in just pushing that key in. Not like in the new ones where you push the start button, even though the start button sits on the left side. There is something about this. It's a meaty feeling when everything comes alive. So start it. Good bark to it, and it pops a little. But in this one, it sits well. It's just perfect with that pop. This mid-sized SUV is rather easy to turn around. Maybe not the best of turning radius on it. But we start off in normal. You can still have the exhaust note on. You can activate it or deactivate it. What you want, but I always like to have it there. It feels like this car should always be present with its sound. And when you roll away like this in normal, and the chassis is set in normal, it feels very relaxed. It feels just like a very comfortable mid-sized SUV. And it feels so solid, but it feels like you want to do more, and we will do more. But just start off like this in the gentle way. It's so much more nimble and easy to drive than the bigger ones. So this makes a bit more sense if you want to be a bit more hardcore in the SUV segment. A medium-sized SUV. And that Macan T that I drove, I like that because that 4-cylinder engine made it a bit more easy to turn in. In this one, well, you can feel that it is a little heavier at the front, but not that much because it has such good steering precision and the whole car is just so balanced. It is also a bit more strengthened up. It is lower, 10 millimeters lower, so the body dynamics, well, they become better. The chassis is a little bit more stiff than the weaker models, the Macan and the Macan S and the Macan T. Great thing about this car is how well this 7-speed PDK gearbox works when you drive a little more slow and calm from day to day and just want to cruise, together with the torque of this engine. And if you want to be a bit more on it, well, put it into Sport or Sport Plus, and it's sharper, quicker. So it never fails to impress, this PDK gearbox, in any Porsche. And if we talk about the seats, well, when you look at them, you just want to dive into them immediately. And when you sit in them, they are really, really good. For me, they fit just perfect. Maybe they will be a bit too narrow for some, but they are very comfortable. They are stuffed in a perfect way. And when you want to bolster them up, just push it and it squeezes you in really, really good. So they have the perfect balance of being soft and very sporty and keep you in place. Because it swings about a bit more when you sit a step up in a car and if you want to go really, really hard in the corners. So seats are very important. Don't want to fly around. And you got the GTS logos all around here as well, like on the outside. So you really know that you're in a GTS. But it's very delicate. I like how it looks. All this green, python green stitching goes all the way through in here. So this is a bit more updated. This is a bigger pack. I like how it oozes Porsche all the way around in the cabin. Carbon fiber, this thin, nice race text steering wheel with modern touches and some buttons, physical buttons. That little wheel here to set the different sporty tones. Sport Plus, you do that, and Jiffy. And the graphics in the right cluster here, a bit updated, but still from that old era. That's the same with the digits under here for your trip computer there and what gear you're in, and also the speed. Becomes a little bit nostalgia, but that just feels good. I like how it blends together. And that it's also very remarkable that it still feels very fresh and new and modern. You don't need to update it with a lot of lighting and a lot of digital here and there and screens and everything. I think that Porsche drivers and the customers of Porsche enjoy having these old clusters. I like them a lot. The big SUVs that want to go sporty, they can be a bit too much. Sure, that Cayenne Turbo e-hybrid, the newest one, it is a bit bonkers in that way that it's crazy quick. But when you want to go crazy quick in the corners, you can't get away from the fact that 2,700 kilos, that is a bit too much. Now, 2,000 kilos is a lot as well, but it's less. But this Macan has always showed that it can deliver on track, on normal roads, and it just feels splendid in the corners. You know exactly how to put it in, how to dose that power, and if something gets out of hand, it's so much easier to control and get out of that. This 2.9 liter V6 bi-turbo engine, 440 horsepower, 550 newton meters of torque. Pulling up on the motorway like this, well, it is no problem whatsoever. Launch control. And 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. Well, that is dealt with in 4.3 seconds. It's very quick. Pushes on well, you know, you can feel that torque driving on winter tires still, but that's just what we got. And there is something about mid-sized SUVs, especially this one, because the body dynamics feels like it gives you a lot more confidence when getting into corners and really want to push it. A bigger SUV doesn't really want to play along all the way. This one wants to play a bit more, and it gives you the confidence of driving it harder in every bend without feeling like, no, I have to pull off a little here because this is a bit too quick. Very good pull in second gear. The brakes, they have great feel. 10 millimeters lower makes the body control even better. Now we push on here. Sport Plus. Yep. You know, it's quick enough, this one. And then the brakes are always there as in normal Porsche fashion. So long bend here, quite high speed. The body control is good. You can feel that you sit in a higher car. Can't get away from that fact. But the body control is so much better. It doesn't jump that far like in bigger cars. This is always fun, this Macan, and you need this power to really get the real essence of what it can deliver. Hard on the brakes, yep, now let it off. You can feel that the back end comes a little there. Sure, 2,000 kilos plus, they need to struggle a little, but much more composed. This is a very fun mid-sized SUV, and I think performance-wise, this has much more control than, let's say, GLC 63 AMG, the Jaguar F-Pace SVR, the BMW X3 M competition, that is good. Porsche has taken care of the Macan and thrown out the turbo, that is not needed anymore, and made this a bit more complete to become a better mid-sized SUV sports one. And sure, when driving it hard like this, the control is just brilliant, but the Macan T, that control was also very good. This is a step up, of course, even though it's a little heavier, you get the extra power, so it feels a bit more complete. But do you really need it? Or do you need something even more powerful? Because when I'm pushing this hard, body control and everything is just great. Well, it's a bit lumpy in some situations, but all mid-sized SUVs are. But what this would need is an additional 100 horsepower. The competitors, they are up there in the 500 horsepower plus segment, 440 horsepower on a 2-ton plus mid-sized SUV. that is a bit too weak. And I feel that now. I would like to have some more power, because in some situations, when you toss it in, it's like, good, I got the control of it, but I need the power. And it is a little weak. You really need to shift it down to get all that power out. And in the other ones, well, there was so much power in these ones that you can really put it sideways. But this one, not in the same manner. It's more planted. So 100 horsepower more, or at least 50, that would do it. And there is something about steering sensation. I always talk about steering sensation together with brakes. Porsche, they're always on top there. But I think that many competitors, they very close to Porsche nowadays. So you really need to set them side by side on a track to really know which one is the best. But sometimes power can take that little extra leap in front of a car that just has a little more or a little better steering precision and braking precision, and become a bit better package. And the combined consumption, well, it's 11.7 down to 11.3. But of course that consumption will be a lot higher because you want to drive this a little quicker. The new Macan is on its way in, the electrical one. Will be very interesting to try that one out. So this Porsche Macan GTS is a little of a symbol that really says that sport SUVs of any kind, well, they're not dull, they're not boring, and that you can have something that is a bit more practical than a sports car. Well, of course, you sit well in the back, it's not the biggest, and that you can carry some luggage in the boot. For that small family, this is a very thrilling proposition. From 970,000 Swedish crowns for this one is a lot of money for a small SUV. But once again, when it comes to Porsche and when it comes to those high performance cars in this segment, it is something special, because when pushing it, and if you're a driver that really wants to be thrilled from time to time, then these cars, they offer a lot. And this Porsche Macan GTS, it offers a hell of a lot of precision. We need to say goodbye to this one because the new one is on its way in, the fully electric Porsche Macan. But this one has done a real good job. It has really shown that a mid-sized sport SUV can be super sharp and deliver a lot of joy, comfort, and a good day-to-day car with great quality. And that's what I like about it. It's not just the feeling of it being a very sporty car, it's the feeling of all the materials and this classic stuff in it that makes it feel like a Porsche, a real Porsche.